I know obviously, there's an obvious reason why is because you want a licensed guy doing the work so the work is done correctly. But there's a lot of other things that the state of Illinois does, not for practical purposes, but to protect the unions. And even in the codes, I think we talked about this before, but copper, for example, is one of the most protected because the plumbing union is so big and it takes a skill to solder and sweat pipe and all of that. So the people that get their licenses, because of their training, it protects them and keeps them employed, as to just hire some, person from another country to do the work, and then they'll do it for pennies, and these guys are out of work. So that's the way that the state has designed everything. And one of the ways that the city, once you're in their web, they enforce that is by, forcing you to get a licensed trade to do the work. And in many cases, when they're requesting as-built plans, they already know what's going on. 9 times out of 10, the city themselves know that they are requiring an individual or an owner to find a licensed person, and that licensed person is going to charge money, so it gives them some income and protects them from these other people, like in your case, that did the work that are not licensed. You got the benefit as the owner of getting the work done for cheaper than you would having to hire these licensed people, and in exchange, the only way to protect them from still getting some money is to pay them. And they kind of know that that's what's going on. It's been happening for many, many, many years.
Right.
And my point in saying that is, a lot of these guys, truthfully, they get salty when they know that you're using somebody that's not them, and you just want to pay them a little bit of money to use their license, and they're just not really that cool.
I get it.
And so a lot of these guys, they charge anywhere between $1,000, and if it's a big building like a 5, 6, 10, 20 unit apartment building, they want upwards of $2,000 if they are not doing the work. Because ultimately what happens is, regardless, and I'm in the same boat as you, because believe me, I've done this for many years, and I'm always like, as a business, you have to do certain things that make financial sense. Otherwise, if down here on the south side or the west side where you're at, if you would have done this building from scratch and hired a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber, a licensed HVAC, a licensed contractor,
yeah.
when it got time to sell the building, you would have spent so much money hiring these guys that you would not have even been able to make a profit, and therefore stuff doesn't get done. So anyways, because we have been doing this for a long period of time, I've used and leveraged my volume that I've done for so many years to be able to, let's say, work under a licensed person.
Right.
And I've negotiated some pretty favorable, although they may seem, a little bit expensive. Believe it or not, it's actually about 50%, or in some cases, 25% of what the normal going rate is. And,
gotcha.
And the reason is because these people, even though the work is done, they are still technically liable legally for any of the work that they put their name on.
Gotcha.
And so it's actually, you have to put yourself in their shoes. And it's like, hey, this guy in New York, he wants to, pay me X amount of dollars. And, so, we can get it done. And these guys, like my plumber, my electrician, these are all relationships that I have.
Right.
I've already gotten them down to, a pretty low price comparatively, but, I can see if there's anything I can maybe do, but it's going to be probably pretty difficult.
All right.
But these are reputable people. The city knows them. We've been doing, they pass a lot of the jobs, and just for the record, this is purely just to use basically for them to be what's called, quote unquote, a supervising contractor. So they understand that the work is completed, but this amount of money is just for the paperwork purposes.
Right.
If there are inspections that are required, which it doesn't sound like, so that's good. I think if we can just get the permit issued, then that's enough to satisfy what Demetrius needs to get this out of court.
Okay.
If there's additional work that needs to be done because, Demetrius is not able for any reason to to get this out of court based on just the permit, the as-is permit being issued, then that is a separate discussion that we would have to have. But obviously, I'm not going to try. I mean, I would recommend you calling, or we can reach out to Demetrius and say, hey, you know, we want to be clear when this permit is issued, we don't need anything else. This is just to get this taken care of, and we can, you know, that we can move on with our lives and get this out of court, which, you know, I think probably is the case, but you still just want to confirm that ahead of time, because I also don't want you to think that we're trying to charge you any more money, because that certainly won't be the case. But if they are going to, you know, if they do require inspections to be done, then these contractors are going to, you know, they're going to want to be paid for their time that they have to be there to either do work,
right,
or to be there because if the court inspectors or the building inspectors enforce that the licensed trade is there for an inspection, then it is a considerable amount of more work, meaning we have to brief them on what work has been done. They're going to have to do a walkthrough because their license is on the line. They're going to have to look at the work and say, okay, is this good?
Right.
And many times we can do that before they do it, so it saves money. Like I can have Terrence or Mike Haynes, my project manager, who has an extensive amount of trade experience to go by and say, okay, hey, we're going to have a problem with this, or no, this work looks good, we should be fine. You know, I just want to make sure you understand that. So I think, you know, once you give us the okay, you know, we can get a check. If you can send a check, I think it's for what, 2,000, it'd be 500 times 4. You know, you can get that, and then we can give Jose the Claude, the architect, the license information. He can proceed to get the permit, and then I would just clarify with Demetrius of what's needed post the permit being issued, and I think that's, you know, that's all good progress, and we can be moving this thing along.
All right, yeah, because I definitely want to move it along. I'm not sure if you know this, I'm having problems with the tenants now. I'm hearing they're not paying and they're not responding. I hope that doesn't impede anything with access to the building or anything, but
no, that won't. We'll post notification. They have to grant us access 48 hours. There's no I mean, they can't object to that really, so
okay,
we'll be fine there.
All right, cool. All right, so let's move forward. You know, yeah, you know, I get it. I understand.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure you got that, and then yeah, once just let me know, and we'll be good to go.
No, let's move forward. Give me the I guess you're gonna you're still on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're gonna send me an invoice or whatever, right?
Yeah, we'll send an invoice.
Yeah. No problem.
We gotta be just, you know, we gotta be careful with the wording of the invoice, because, you know, this is,
yeah, that's true.
It's kind of one of those things where the contractor's supposed to be doing the work, but since the work is already done, so we'll just we'll probably send you an invoice from our letterhead that just says
some generic,
you know, supervision of project or something like that.
Yeah, I get it.
Permit or something like that.
Yeah, that's
right?
no problem, man.
Okay,
no
cool.
problem,
but we
man.
will take care of that, and we'll get those letters handled, and then yeah, the sooner you get, we'll get that over to you. The sooner you get the funds over, then we'll get that handled right away. We can get Marlene the letters and Navni and what they need, and then we can get this moving forward. And then after that, I think, you know, they can get the permit issued pretty quickly. So
okay,
we'll just reach out. Are we going to reach out to Demetrius, or should he?
No, why don't you guys do it? It's okay.
Okay, yeah, we'll reach out to him and just make sure that is, and we'll have email correspondence so that we have some paperwork trail of that, and we'll go from there.
All right, cool. And so hit me up with the other stuff you got, okay?
Yeah, what I'll probably do is I'll call you maybe this weekend, or
all right.
Actually, yeah, I'll call you. Yeah, we'll talk about it for sure. But I want to put some things together. I have a couple deals I think that could work out, and we'll go from there. See what we can put together.
All right, cool. Let me know.
Okay.
All right, thanks. All right, thanks, Nonit.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, man. Bye-bye.